Hey guys, Florida Fisherman here, and I rescued a few 3-inch plate discs from a friend of mine's scrap pile. I got these two this morning and a bunch of miscellaneous fittings that kind of look like that there. Basically, it used to be some kind of clothes hanger type thing over in a department store. And these were the bases for the racks where the department store hung the clothes. And it came with some nice pipe. The pipe looks like stainless. All the fittings look like stainless. I thought they were aluminum at first, these fittings, but I tried melting one with the torch and that sucker didn't melt. So I'm assuming it's stainless. Magnet doesn't really do anything when put next to it. But I traded out some stainless steel for this one here yesterday. But he said he had more, and he was going to scrap these two. And I don't believe these are stainless. They might be, and if they are, boy, they're probably worth some money. But I'm going to make my first go at a rotating welding table. I have my one welding table, but that don't rotate, and it's a pain in the ass to spin stuff around while you're trying to weld, and you got a torch in your hand, and you got big gloves, and so I'm going to make me a rotating welding table out of two of these, some fittings, and some pipe. And I'm fixing to cut this, but just wanted to give you a heads up on what I'm starting with, and it's not much, and I think it's going to come out good. Time will tell. So subscribe and find out if it comes out. Well, the idea is, and I did get the pipe cut, okay, needs a little cleaning up. The idea is these come with these nice bolts. That will thread into here. So basically, this is going to mount like that. I'm going to come in with this bolt from underneath and tighten it up into here, which is going to lock this collar down to the plate. That's how the store display was. And all I did was just shorten the pipe. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and take another one of these and put it on the top like that. And I do have this piece here that's threaded as well. These are solid. It's going to drop down in this tube. This will drop down over top of it. Then I could put the other plate on top of this and thread it down into that, which is going to hold the top plate in place. Now, of course, I should be using some bearings or something of the sort, but this is Florida Fisherman, and we're going to do this crap cheap. So I'm going to probably just put some grease all over here and on the bottom of the other plate, and I'm going to see how well that works. If I need to get a bearing, so be it. But I don't think I will need to. Not for my purposes anyway. So basically this stuff cost me nothing, and this is all stainless stuff. So now that's regular steel right there, but a magnet won't stick to any of this other stuff, so it's stainless, and I tried to melt it with a torch so I know it's not aluminum. Wish there was a good way to actually tell what's stainless and what's not, but I'm going to get on with the build and bring you guys back when I have more progress made. Okay guys, this is kind of a rough fit up of what it is I'm trying to accomplish here. I think y'all could see what's going on. I don't have the top, aligned or in place or anything like that. And those rubber feet are going to go, and I need to go ahead and sleeve the inside so this thing, this way this thing is all nice and flush and in line with the base to a vertical 90 and then to the top plate. But just wanted to show you guys, this thing will spin around just fine, and heck, I don't even have it aligned yet. That's relatively level. But when you're welding some stuff up and you need to, get to the other side of the piece, you can either walk around the damn table or you could bring the back of the table around to you. So that's what I plan on doing. Alrighty, making some progress here. Went ahead and center punched this hole right here that is going to accept this, which is going to drop into that, and this thing is going to come together relatively quickly, methinks. Okay, well, got the hole drilled out, everything fitted up, got my top piece with the plastic sleeves, which is going to keep it centered around this pipe right here. So this thing's ready to be fitted up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab me a beer, first things first, and then I'm going to go ahead and set this iPad up on the tripod and see if I can't get some video of me actually fitting this thing up for a final test. So I'll be back in a few. Okay guys, time to fit this thing up and see if we have a welding table that spins or not. Basically a one-day build using scraps, hasn't cost me a dang dime. So let's get to it. Before I start putting this thing together, I wanted to show you guys this thing. There's actually one of these inside here and inside down here. And basically what that does is, once that guy's in, you tighten down on this screw here and it forces out this little keyway, which is going to press against the sidewall of the pipe, and it's going to lock this thing in place. And this thing is threaded, and the bolt goes through the steel plate, and these plates are 3/8 of an inch thick, and they're 20 inches in diameter, and they're not light by any means. But this screw is going to go ahead and lock down the top plate once this piece is mounted inside of this pipe. So let's get to it. So I've got my top cap with my plastic sleeves, which are going to fit around this pipe, and all I need to do is just go ahead and, finagle this thing on there and then press it down. We'll see how much trouble that is. I'm going to spray a little bit of oil on this thing to aid in the thing going down. Pull out the plastic sleeves a little bit. And this thing's kind of a pain in the butt, and I'll try and give you a good view of it if I can while working on this thing. But and of course it'll probably be difficult now that I'm on camera. Alright, well, we got it started, and that's a start. So let me see if we can't get something to help us maneuver this thing on there. I wanted this to be a tight fit, and it's a tight fit. And that plastic sleeve may be just a hair too thick. I was thinking that's going to go on pretty good. But I don't want to beat up that top piece too much, so I want my plate to fit flat on it. These are originally designed, these things here, just to have one side with a plastic sleeve. And maybe there's a reason for that. Maybe there's not enough room for both of those sleeves. So I might have a hard time getting this sucker back off without marring it up. But I don't think it's going to go all the way on, so we're going to have to go on to Plan B. Okay, let Plan B commence. It's getting late in the day and the sun is starting to set, and I want to get this thing wrapped up. So Plan B was basically taking out one of the plastic sleeves, and if you could see, it was just a little bit too tight. It's getting all marred up. I could probably heat up this pipe and use the two sleeves and just melt it down onto there, but I want to be able to take this thing off at some point and maintain this thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with the one sleeve and be done with it. So should go on a little bit easier now. And let me get my little block of wood. Give it a little bit of persuasion. It's not as tight as I wanted, but and it's bottomed out. But it's pretty good. Pretty tight. So we'll make do with it. Now what I need to do is, let me loosen up this clamp from when I was drilling. I'll spin this so you guys can see it. Now what I need to do is grab this guy and hold it in place while I put in the set screw. And this is actually the one that I'm going to use for the top, so I'm going to use this one here for all intents and purposes. And let me get my little set screw out of this extra one. And now it's time to put the top plate on. I'll tighten this down later. And this guy's pretty heavy. As a matter of fact, it's so heavy, even though I'm going to put grease later, this is just a trial fit. I'm going to go ahead and throw some oil on there. Give it a little bit of lubrication. I'm going to put on my top plate. I know I have an Allen wrench around here somewhere that fits this sucker. But maybe rather than crank down, I'll just leave it loose. I can tighten up this one though. And that's not the right one. And that's not the right one. But I'm just going to leave all that for now. I'll find the right Allen key later, just for the sake of the video. But now it's on. And if I was to tighten this down a little bit more, we'd get rid of that wobble. But now we have a, well, it just tightened down on its own. So I'm going to have to go ahead and put a washer on there. But as you can see, we have a spinning welding table. And I'll tell you what, between the weight of these plates and the solidness of this thing, this is going to work out real good. So I'm going to throw a washer underneath there, so this way I get, you know, a little bit of a ability to go ahead and spin, rather than this thing just tighten up that set screw, the Allen screw. Because right now, all it's doing when I try and turn it clockwise is tightening that. So I'll go ahead and put a washer underneath that. And there we go, guys. Got a spinning welding table. Comment, like, and subscribe. We're going to do more like this.